there it is. Recording in progress. Clip it up. Clip boy. Jets to make the playoffs Tuesday, October 3rd, plus 850 odds at DraftKings. Jets get that last playoff spot in the AFC. Tony's hot takes.
Whose spot are they taking based on your preseason?
I had the Jets in the playoffs based in preseason because of Rodgers.
True.
Even if they lose to the Broncos this weekend,
they're going to beat the Broncos this weekend, bro.
They probably will.
But
I don't know,
man.
If there's a good game for the defense to bounce back, this is it.
We'll see. That last playoff spot, is it going to be Cleveland?
It could be with that defense.
The Steelers,
I don't know. I honestly don't see anyone aside from the Dolphins and the Bills making it from the East. Then the West, you got the Chiefs are going to make it.
Yep, there's 3.
Maybe the Chargers.
There you go, man. Who do you have more faith in, the Chargers or the Jets?
But then you also have the North. Well, I guess you got the Ravens, the Browns.
I like it here. Look at this.
And the South? Is there anyone from the South aside from the division winner? Because they're all at 2-2 right now.
You're going to get some ugly messes with some like Titans, Browns, Jets, Chargers combos in there. And one of those ugly teams is going to get that last spot and everyone's going to be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Just saying. Not technically dead yet. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah.
But you know what is dead? The New York Giants. That team. Do they even practice? What do they do?
I hope you're right, Tony, because I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, especially with that being the opponent that I'm about to go to. So I'm not talking any shit about them.
I'll talk as much shit as possible for you, Nick.
You do that.
I went and witnessed a 40-0 beatdown, and last night was the worst game I've ever seen an offensive line play in the NFL in like 10 years. They gave up 11 sacks to Daniel Jones. He was just getting hit every play. They had like 15 days to prepare for this game. Didn't they have that extra mini bye because they played on Thursday against the Niners? So they go from a Thursday game to a Monday game. They have all this extra rest time and they still look like complete garbage, man. That was pathetic, dude. I was so mad. Like when I really lost it at that pick six because Darren Waller was so goddamn open in the end zone. And that was a swing. If they scored, that goes from 14-10 to 21-3. So they pretty much lost the game on that play. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck you, Giants. Fuck you, Daniel Jones. Why the hell did I? Because I looked at the schedule, Nick. I saw the schedule and I was like, yo, do you see this schedule? Giants have to play the Dolphins and the Bills next. They're going to throw everything possible at this Seahawks game at home in prime time to win. There's no way Daniel Jones can continue to lose these prime time games. Wrong. So wrong. And then I tried to be like Trebek and play both sides. Burn me. Should have just stayed with the Seahawks at our pick, man.
Yeah.
God damn.
So you think Saquon actually comes back this week, or you think they just hold him out after these next 2 games? Because if he doesn't play this week, do you think you want to come back against the Bills defense?
The Bills are so overrated. It is insane.
I don't know. I literally just saw that firsthand. But then again, you're going up against a Miami Dolphins offensive line where you're already missing the starting center. And then your starting center of the game injures your starting left tackle. So you're going up against the Bills defense with 3/5 of the offensive line.
Stephon Diggs just got on one in that game, and who was just like not going to let anyone from the Dolphins cover him. Really need Jalen Ramsey back. Once that addition happens, the secondary will be a lot better. But the Bills are mad overrated because we're suffering mad recency bias because we're forgetting that game against the Jets happened. Yeah. Even though it was in prime time and they looked horrible, and it was a horrible loss to the Jets, that game still happened for the Bills this season. And so it's like, I mean, that loss to me is a lot worse than the Chiefs losing to the Lions on that first game. Yeah. Where I'm like, yeah, okay, that was a close game, prime time, okay. But
speaking of the Jets, they almost pulled it out against Patrick Mahomes.
They have some good.
What have we been saying? What would we be saying if they would have actually lost that game?
The Taylor Swift is a distraction to the Chiefs now,
That she's banned.
and
I think
yeah,
it's more a case of the Chiefs just playing with their opponents again. Like they're cats playing with mice.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. They care about Super Bowls and dating pop stars. Like they don't care about the lowly Jets. Like honestly, like that game should have covered. It should have been a 10 point. It was a lot closer than it really was.
Yeah.
Thanks, Patrick Mahomes. You don't have the same respect for the betters that Sean McVay has. But no, like I don't like Jets. They still have issues. They still have the same
Mhm.
issues they had last season, and look how that wound up for them last year. So that's why I don't think they're gonna make it to the playoffs. Like if anything, I'd say the Jets are overrated as they currently stand, not the Bills.
How are the Jets overrated? Who is overrated?
Because people are still giving them credit. Like
I mean, it's because most of the media is in New York, and we always say that they love those New York teams. They're gonna give them all no matter what.
They love the drama. Okay. They love Aaron Rodgers doing his Pat McAfee Tuesdays, and like he's not coming back. He's not gonna come back from an Achilles injury. Like it's just like I feel like the NFL's just spiraled into fucking madness this season. Where like it's like the QAnon people from the internet have like taken over NFL now. And so now we're just inundated with like Taylor Swift and Aaron Rodgers and God knows what else.
And Tony can't even watch his highlights. He can't see some people score touchdowns because
the fucking Toy Story things.
Dude, ESPN Plus. I hear you, man. To push back on you against the Jets, though, they had everyone, even with Aaron Rodgers. We talked about how brutal this schedule was to start out. So even if they had Aaron Rodgers, they could easily be 1-3 with how difficult this schedule is. So I just think perhaps schedule gets easier. Maybe Zach Wilson gets better. It looks like he's at least improving with the media and getting a little bit more composure. So that's the only devil's advocate. You're probably right, man. The Jets probably aren't going to get that last
They still have to face the Dolphins twice. They have to
I
face
agree
the Bills
with you.
again, which are going to be looking for revenge. Like,
yes,
I can clip it right now. Like Jets not beating the Bills.
You're probably right. But it does feel like they're a little overlooked there. I think they're in that same mix.
And then are we going to have a new president by the time the Jets beat the Patriots? So like that's 4 losses like right there when they only have 1. Like I just give me a break on the Jets. Like they're gone. They're off on the lonely island with us.
We'll see. There's that last playoff spot that stays open in the AFC. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
And I get that, but it's going to be a team that none of us expect. It's going to end up being like the Texans, or it's going to end up being the Colts, or the Titans. Like, just watch it. It's going to be some random team that's going to just kind of fall ass backwards in there.
Do you think the Texans can win the AFC South?
I think they can. The way CJ Stroud's playing.
Nobody expected this from the Texans.
1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions through his first 4 games.
I know, but be realistic. You think he's
they got a good defense too, a defensive-minded coach. Coming from that same system that's breeding offense.
I'm with you. They have 3 wins right now. If you told me at the end of the season they had 7, I would be very impressed with that.
3, team. I think they're 2-2, right? I think that whole division's 2-2.
They're 2-2. I thought they were 3-1. Okay, they're 2-2. So if they get 7 wins, I would be impressed. Winning that division, I feel like someone's going to catch up to Stroud. The film will get out. He is still a rookie.
Yeah.
I just don't see them keeping this up the whole season. And I don't know. I think that they're just got off to a little hot start, but they do look very good to start. I like what I'm seeing on the defensive side for sure.
Just seems like no one's figured him out so far. So like I get that, like once the film's out on this guy, I just don't see that happening anytime soon.
Who they played?
I mean, they are playing in the AFC South, so the competition.
Just for recency bias, though, Tony. Like that Steelers win was big. Like that's true. That was a breakout win of just like 9 times out of 10 Texans lose that game.
Yeah, they were winning that game before Kenny Pickett went down too. So I can't even give that injury to him. I think it was like 16-0 when Kenny Pickett went down. So Texans look very composed. Everything looks great. Damon Pierce, great running game.
They can take advantage of a weak division as well. So you look up the odds on the Texans. Like that would be the team that I would bet on if
you should actually
I'm
look
going
up
to take a
the
waiver.
entire division, see what the different odds are.
The Texans to like all the rest of those teams, they're going to be like the Texans to make the playoffs is plus 200, plus 225. That's a lot better. I agree with you. That's a much better bet than the Jets at plus 800. But the value for the Jets just astronomical. That's probably what I'm looking at.
Anything can happen.
Browns favor to make the playoffs.
And they still don't necessarily have a backup for Zach Wilson as well. Like that's
Trevor Siemian's a backup.
Yeah.
We'll see, but you're right. It's just too much talk about the Jets. Let's get into some other
let's
talk
be
here.
honest. Like they, one last point. Like I guess Trevor Siemian technically is a veteran at this point, but they probably should have got like another veteran presence to sit behind Zach Wilson. Yeah,
you're right.
So you want to talk about another New York team that I got to go visit this weekend? So I got to go up to the Buffalo Bills game against the Dolphins. That they ass whooping that, as they all like to say, they squished the fish.
How many points did they score, Nick?
They scored a lot. They scored a lot. Not as many as the Dolphins did against the Broncos, though.
It's only 3 less touchdowns than they scored on the Broncos.
Yes, but I tailgate was awesome. The whole Bills Mafia was awesome. I was actually there with a group of Bills fans, and they took me in. Yeah, they gave me shit the entire weekend, but when it all came time to it, we just like different teams. I didn't get to see any. I was disappointed. I didn't get to see anybody jump through any tables.
How?
I don't know. I did see some aftermath. Like walking back from the stadium after the game, I saw like maybe 5 tables that were broken. But even talking to the people that I was tailgating with, they don't see it that often.
Is it an urban legend that we've all just?
It just happens randomly. Like someone just gets so drunk and just fucking go through the table.
Wow.
But it was definitely an experience. They're supposed to be some of the best tailgaters in the NFL. It was pretty good. Most of the fans were good, aside from the one asshole fan that was sitting next to me. Like, really, you do not try to wish injury on any player, regardless of what team they're on. It's just bad juju. And this guy just sitting next to me, he's like, you better hope Tua doesn't get hit. They're going to ask him his name, and all he's going to be able to say is Tua. And it was just so fucking
It's not even
annoying.
clever, man.
No, he's like, you get it? It's like chia. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Just please stop talking to me.
All right,
man.
Everyone, quick poll, straw poll. Most annoying fan at games. I'll start with myself. For me, it's guy on your own team that gets mad when the other fans don't cheer. Like, what are you guys sitting down for? Stand up, get loud, guys. We're so close. And it's like, dude, we're down 3 touchdowns. I don't care. I'll bleep like orange and blue. And you're just like, nah, dude, I paid the ticket. Same as you, man. What about you, Tony?
I don't know. I think I probably have to just go with Nick's guy of like bad trash talking, bad chirping, man. You gotta at least get them with like the original trash talk or something else. Like when I went to that Giants game, people were always just talking shit to me about the Niners, and I'm like, okay, there you go. I get that. Or like when I go up to them, like, you're really happy with this Daniel Jones contract to Giants fans, or how do you feel about
stuff like that?
Saquon? But not like, oh, I want this guy to die or I want this guy to get injured. Like, Jesus Christ, people, you're at a sporting event. It's a game. They're grown men playing a game. Oh, what the heck, man?
People just sometimes get too much into that blood sport. Nick, did you have like a differing?
I mean, it's basically the same because the experiences I've had where aside from Jets fans, they're just their own breed. But fans of opposing teams, when with their trash talking, just be original. Don't say stupid shit. And like Tony was saying, don't wish injury on people. They wish they were gonna die.
Yeah,
Just
that's
it's uncalled for, and I respect most football fans because we all us football fans, we love our teams because we grew up in certain places. So we're all basically the same. It's just we grew up in different places, so we like different teams. So I
I
have
think that was
respect for other.
yeah. That was the special moment about DeMar Hamlin last year was we all kind of realized
Yeah.
as fans like, yeah, we talk shit, we have opposing teams, but like this is just a game we love. Like this is what we're able to talk about at work. This is what, bonds us as
Yeah,
friends to do
we're able to do
a
this.
football show. Yeah. Like why we're Nick's going to Buffalo, Tony's going to Toronto, I'm going to Miami. Like it's a passion for the game, and like you don't want to see it get toxic. You don't want to see it get dark. Like that's the shit we're trying to get away from when we go to these games.
Hmm.
So yeah, completely understand that. Some fans just take it too far, and we see the videos on social media throughout every week in the NFL. Unfortunately, NFL just seems to kind of generate that. It is a little bit of a blood sport, lots of drinking,
Hmm.
out in the elements. So like I get it, but I think most of us, like 95% of the fans out there are normal. They just want to enjoy the game. They want to get
Yeah.
away from the craziness of life. And so yeah, right on. We all had some fun sports experiences this year. Hopefully we can continue on with that. I did have a
Yeah.
Cowboys friend here in Denver, and unfortunately I sent him to meet me at an Philadelphia Eagles bar. And yeah, in downtown Denver, and of all the jerseys he's wearing a DeMarcus Ware Cowboys jersey on top of it. So yeah, he definitely got heckled and booed a lot, but that's some of the fun of the game. So,
Dude.
Nick, while we're on the Dolphins, I do have a question for you. Like
Yes.
speaking of their defense, like do you think Vic Fangio is doing a better job than Josh Boyer did so far?
I mean, it's hard to say that he is. I mean, I know it's only 4 games into his tender, but like last year, Josh Boyer, that defense was atrocious. Through the first 4 games, I think they had 96 points allowed. This year's defense is already at 119. So I don't know if it's just the players looking for a new or getting used to the new scheme or what it is, but something hopefully starts to gel the next few weeks because at least we got the Giants coming up this week, Panthers next week, then testing the Eagles. So
I think I mean hell, just based off of the game we saw last night against the Seahawks, like Vic Fangio like is probably chomping at the bit to just send the blitz at Daniel
yeah,
Jones. And then Panthers also just have a terrible O-line as well. So very much could be a couple of weeks that the Dolphins get right on defense. Like,
that's my hope. They're both home games as well. So
are you like some Dolphin fans? Are you like waving the red flag, or are you just like, this is a temporary thing?
I'm hoping it's a temporary thing. At least that's what I'm trying to tell myself.
At least you're honest.
I don't know, man. Do you think the defense has been an issue for the Dolphins this season?
They
I
led a lot
mean,
of points even against that Chargers game, though.
yeah,
Like
that that
that's
that
just
Chargers game went into a shootout because of the defense, but that was the first game of the year. They had a bounce back against New England, but McCorkle.
True.
yeah. I just
Mm.
that seems to based off of what I've heard from other Dolphin fans, that seems to be where their ire is drawn right now,
Hmm.
is towards Vic Fangio and that defense, and it's not even being optimistic like Nick right now of like, hey, we're gonna get X back. We have some injuries, like we need
Hmm.
this line to kind of solidify a little more. So yeah, like you've by far been like the most optimistic Dolphins fan I've talked to so far about that defense.
Yeah, it's all about hoping.
I don't
else
know.
can
They
I
got
say?
pieces.
I mean, I hope at this
pieces.
point that the Dolphins' offense carries them in enough games until the defense can get figured out.
I'm with you, Nick. I think it's just early season, kind of just learning how to gel as a team. Like clearly they have that on offense, but you have to realize like this is the second year of kind of that offense doing what they do. And so
Yeah.
the defense is now having to play catch up on their end. Like, yeah, it helps to have people like Chubb that know Fangio's defense, but at the end of the day, they are still having to do something new and different from what they did last year. So
Yeah.
I think that like Vic Fangio is a good defensive coach. You can't take that away from him. Like, I don't think he's just gonna like flame out this year with the Dolphins. So
No.
I think they'll figure it out. Tony, I got something for you. Speaking of Nick, just the emotional highs and lows of sports, of just one week you win 70-20, the next week you lose, you know, 48 points.
Yeah.
Like, and you had it with the Cowboys of just like you were probably the highest on the Cowboys you've been in a long time, and then they go out and kind of lay an egg against the Cardinals. And so just like we talked about it earlier of the things we love about sports, but man, like those roller coaster rides, like Nick, like how was that for you this past week?
I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna have any normal color hair left. It's gonna be all gray by the end of the season. I swear I didn't look like this a few years ago. It's just, I don't know. My heart's racing out every time. I don't know if I can handle it. But I'll still go back.
Tony, I mean, or is it just life as a Cowboys fan for you of like learning the ebbs and flows of just like it's not so much like the highs and lows, it's how you handle them and kind of like right in the middle.
I think so. I think kind of like how you handle it, because the more hype that you consume, you realize that it is all just noise and it is just packaged differently with different names and faces. So it is really like it's a long-term thing. It's like a marathon, not a sprint. And so what do you win in October? Nothing. What do you win in September? Nothing. So I mean, it doesn't really matter how great these teams look now. And so like that's definitely something I think that has definitely been the blind spot of Cowboys fans, and probably something that most Cowboys fans have fallen into that trap time and time again. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know about your teams, but several times the media has proclaimed the Cowboys like the best team in the league, or they won this huge October game, or they won this huge November game. Like they're right back on track to win the Super Bowl. And that's not like how it works like that.
I'm
You
a
can't
Dolphins
like,
fan. They don't ever talk about us like that.
yeah, that's true.
They
That's
have
true.
been
You
more and
can't
more
like,
recently.
Recently,
yeah,
but before this year, there was never any Super Bowl talk about the Dolphins. So I'm not used to
yeah.
that.
I don't know. And I feel like teams do that. Like you were just there in Bills Mafia. They got that hype going,
Hmm.
heavy overdose, like
Oh
for the
yeah,
last
they're
like
carrying
5
around
years
championship
now.
belts and everything. I'm like, what championship was that for?
like,
But okay.
I get it, man. Like nobody's gonna watch these games if they don't think their teams are gonna win. But it's just like
Hmm.
it's tough to not fall into those traps time and time again. So that's why I'm always like, I was telling you guys, like, man, anytime I like catch myself watching these like talk shows, I'm like, dude, I'm just getting buried in narratives and agendas. Like, why the heck am I talking about this? And like, they're talking about the Cowboys red zone issues. I'm like, they won by 35. Would you guys have been more impressed if they won by 45? I don't think so. Like, it would have been the same story. You got to have something to talk about. Like,
Well, to your
so it's just
point, like it doesn't matter in October.
Mm-mm.
Like
yeah. And I'm just like, yeah, like I'm happy they bounced back after that loss. They looked good. They looked healthy. I hope players stay healthy. We'll see how they do towards the end of the year. Like that's pretty much what you got to do. It's like each week is just like an individual thing and it
Yeah.
stacks up. It's hard to forget though. It's very hard to forget, man. You get
Yeah,
trapped in these.
I heard something on my I also had a 5.5 hour trip from Detroit to Buffalo because Delta Airlines delayed flight.
What
Thanks.
the heck, Delta? What the heck? Get that fixed, Delta.
send us some points, Delta.
But on that drive, I was actually listening to some Lions radio, and they were all excited after the Thursday night win last week. And the commentator broke it down like this: like, you take the season in quarters. They just made it through the first quarter 3-1. So now you put that behind you, and you move on to the next. Just break it down like that. Basically, like what you were just saying, Tony.
Yeah, man, God, that Lions team. Talk about a team I think I was really wrong on. Like, holy crap, that dude Hutchinson, dude, if he makes the leap, he's looking like he wants to be in that TJ Watt conversation. Are you about to rank him above TJ Watt, Billings? Like, if he makes that leap, I really think Detroit is going to be able to compete with Dallas, San Francisco, and Philly in the NFC because their lines are really good. I was texting Billings like after they beat the Packers. I was like, yo, I was so wrong about this. I did not see this offensive line domination that was happening. Like they look almost as good as Philly, man.
Yeah.
They look almost as good as Philly on that offensive line.
Don't forget, I had Aiden Hutchinson and Josh Allen on my outside looking in. Don't forget.
That's right, TJ Watt stands. You Steelers fans, Aiden Hutchinson is coming for that spot. I'm telling you, he's really impressive.
Where was TJ Watt against CJ Stroud, y'all? Huh?
Yeah, that was the JJ Watt game
makers,
too.
Y'all.
I got nothing to say. Nick. I got nothing to say. I defend TJ Watt on this one, man.
All right.
That rookie put up 30 on him.
Let's close out our recap. Man, what are we at? That was week 4, heading into week 5. Dear Lord, the season's flying.
We're already a quarter away through the season.
Yeah, yikes. Tony, we didn't want to talk about it anymore, but like at this point, I have to, because I'm fully just, I guess the kids call it red pilled. I'm on the Taylor Swift conspiracy train. Like this is an astroturfed effort by her team in the NFL. I am fully convinced at this point. So thoughts, guys. Like it's everywhere now.
It is. It's right before we came on here, I was just scrolling through Twitter and I saw someone had put her face on the Madden 25 cover.
Yes.
And I just started laughing.
I saw that too, and I was like, like we're not that far off.
Dude, I saw that she was in the Twitter bio, and someone was going the NFL's Twitter bio. They mentioned in Taylor Swift, and someone was going crazy about it. Like trying to unpack this is so difficult because either we're all so wrong, or we're all like got our finger on the pulse, and it is AstroTurf nonsense, like Billings says. But like in a month, if it's like Taylor Swift is pregnant with Travis Kelce's baby, I'm gonna be like, I guess okay.
I'd still need some convincing. At that point, I'd be like, hey man, there's been plenty of couples that have had a baby to keep the PR train going. So,
but it just go at him, Swifties. He's not trusting you. He's not. He wants to see the pregnancy test. He wants to see it if that claim happens.
And I'll preface this right off the top. Like I'm not trying to gatekeep. Like if other people want to come into NFL, like please come into this space with the rest of us. Like the more the merrier. I will take anyone we can get. Like it makes it more fun when everyone's watching the NFL. But yeah, when NFL's changing like their Twitter bios and stuff to Taylor Swift stuff, I'm like, there's something funky going on here. Like
I'm telling you, I'm calling her right now. She's gonna perform at that Germany game halftime.
I think she's gonna perform at halftime of the Super Bowl. Like Usher just does it like that.
He's just a placeholder.
I feel like it. Like that's like your opening act. And then they're going to be like, oh, also with Taylor Swift. And then it's going to, like, the tickets for that Super Bowl are just going to be insane. Like, the events around it will be insane. Like, it reminds me of, like, Coors Field had their All-Star game back in, like, 98. But they also released, like, a limited edition Beanie Baby. So ticket prices just skyrocketed to this All-Star game because more people wanted the fucking Beanie Baby than to actually watch baseball. And yeah, of course I didn't get to go because of damn Beanie Baby. But this is what that reminds me of just like Taylor Swift is the Beanie Baby.
You know what? I'm going to do you one better, man. Since you're right there at home, compare the Deion situation to the Taylor Swift situation, because that one feels a lot more similar than what you're talking about with the Beanie Babies. Because it's like he's driving this hype and marketing around Colorado football. There have been more famous people in Boulder in the last like month than like in the John Benet Ramsey trial. So I'm like, I don't even know what's going on there.
But to push back on that, like ultimately that's like me and Tony having worked in college athletics, like we know this, that like their justification for these coaches and their high contracts always is like, hey, our football team ultimately is the marketing arm for a university. And to that extent, Deion's worked like phenomenally, like 410% through the roof. Like, yeah, like so you can't, like he's gotten a lot of attention for, like they could lose the rest of their games this season, and I think it's already like CU's gotten what they've wanted out of this.
Exactly.
And, I agree with you, but I'm just talking about like reaching past your demographic. Like that's why the NFL's embracing Taylor Swift so much. Like taking it back to being a Cowboys fan. Like,
okay.
they did not do this with Jessica Simpson and Tony Romo when that happened 15 years ago. It was not embraced like this to bring in a different audience, but like she was not on Taylor Swift's level, to be granted.
No.
I'm not like a fan or anything, but I see what the NFL is doing. They're like, we are going to get this many more viewers. Let's put as many Chiefs games in prime time as we can. Look at all this audience that we get because the Swifties are watching football now. And the hilarious videos, they're hilarious. I've seen both sides, you know. Hey, you see this Travis Kelce's putting Taylor Swift on the map, or hey, you see Taylor Swift is putting Travis Kelce on the map. They've been both pretty funny videos. I've seen both takes. So that has been a change that I've seen in the NFL, where it's like bigger than the game. Like this is about the money. Like look at how much further we can reach. Like we're going to be able to get a whole new audience. Like 13-year-old girls are suddenly going to be watching Chiefs games because of Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's already started.
As a girl dad, honestly, then like the way Tony puts it, that I'll be like, all right, NFL, like thank you for getting my daughter to actually watch these games with me.
Yep.
All right.
Like,
all right.
Taylor Swift will be wearing one of those like pink breast cancer jerseys this month, guaranteed. In the box, like guaranteed.
Tony, you sold me officially. All right.
on this
I'm on the Taylor Swift train. I'll take the blue pill instead. All right. Anything else, gentlemen, before we get out of here?
Just shout out to Bills Mafia for taking me in.
Right. Shout out to the Miami fans. They were nice to me as well. But I stuck it out to the end. They knew that. They knew I was a champ. Tony?
Nah, nothing else.
All right. Let's head into week 5 then. This was the week 4 recap. Good night.
Thanks for watching the Sports Budz. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe.